Hello, Cupcakes. Welcome to the new comic book day review. Instead of a Wednesday, we're coming on a Thursday. We're one day later. We're sorry, but sometimes life happens, so I had to get my books today instead of yesterday because I was, tied up at work. But anyway, we have comics and we're here. So let's check out the video. Grab your blasters and let's do pew 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 pew. It's not a blaster. It's just a vacuum cleaner. You know. Okay, the first thing we're going to review is a bookmark. This is a bookmark that came in today in the mail, sent to me by my pal Jason Muck from Omnibuds Cafe. Omnibuds Cafe, if you don't know, is a Facebook group of a lot of comic book lovers. It's a very positive community. I urge you all to join. And we read Friday, part of our book club. So that's why he sent me this. We all love Friday. I did a small review of it on our Cupcakes Instagram page. The link is in the description below, so make sure to check it out. But this is a cool Friday, customized, bookmark. And I thank Jason for that. All right, let's get on with the books. Let's start with DC. As always, #1 publisher. So this one is a new history of the DC universe, the Dakota incident. This is by a lot of creators. So you've got Stephanie Williams, you've got Carlo Pagulian, you've got bunch of other creators, and it's basically a celebration for the Black History Month and a celebration of the black characters within DC. So as you can see, it's written by Stephanie. There are 3 acts and there's a prelude and an epilogue. It's done by different creators. I'm guessing all black creators. So the hype on this book is that, so you had the new history of the DC universe that was written by Mark Waid and Todd Knock. And that came like a couple of months ago. There are like 4 issues. I have all of them. I've reviewed all of them on this channel, which basically chronicle all the events of the new history of the DC universe as retconned and told by Mark Waid. What this is basically, so at the moment, DC doesn't have like any black creator-centric stories or a black character-centric stories. So they said that, we're going to put this new history of the DC universe out, which is basically going to, cover all the history of these milestone characters like Icon and Rocket and Hardware and Static Shock. And if this sells well, then they're gonna like probably kickstart a new universe, a new book with a black creator on. So yeah. So anyway, so everybody should buy this in my opinion. If nothing else, it's gonna give you like a good, I hope that it gives you like a detailed chronicling of the Milestone universe, and hopefully it makes you pick out some of the Milestone books. My personal recommendation is always Hardware. Icon and Rocket are fine, but then I really like in the 90s, Hardware was pretty cool to me. So yeah, please check out Hardware. This is and the artwork is amazing. I hope like the story, you see the Static here, you see a bunch of other characters. So mostly this was all Dwayne McDuffie stuff. Anything that Dwayne McDuffie touches like is gold. He did a big Deathlock arc that was amazing. So, so please go. I urge everyone to check out this book. This is the new history of the DC universe, the Dakota incident. Okay, next we have Absolute Wonder Woman. This is by Hayden Sherman, who's back on the art, and Kelly Thompson. In the last book, we have Diana facing off the Suicide Squad. That comprises of Zatanna and Giganta and a couple of other people. So she has to face off against them. This is called the Season of the Witch arc. So the witch is obviously Zatanna in this case. And so it's an all-out war, I'm guessing, between the Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. So you see Giganta. Giganta looks so cool, man. I've always been a big fan of Giganta. And then she smashes Wonder Woman like, yeah, me, and smash. So I hope that this is a lot of smashy bashy issue. There's Cheetah too in this one. You can see Cheetah here. So Barbara Minerva was Cheetah, but in this case, I think there's a different version of Cheetah. You got Pegasus out there. So this is great arc. Hayden Sherman is back, and I am more than happy to check this out because this is what, issue 17? Yeah, it's every issue has been a banger for this book, man, and it's really crazy. So I hope you get a kick out of this, you buy this, and really, really good stuff. All right, next one we have Absolute Martian Manhunter. This thing is going to end at issue 12, is what was announced, because Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez have been offered another secret project on DC, which they were like, okay, that was too cool to pass out. So they're ending this book, but they're not ending it. They're just completing phase 1 and taking a break from it. So you never know. They'll come back to it in a phase 2, because this is a hot selling book for a lot of people. This is like their pick of the week every week. So what is happening in this is that the White Martian and your John Jones, they have been separated, and there is this other group who's trying to capture our Green Martian. They're like Uncle Sam and a couple of other people. There's a couple of other characters. So that's where we are. And I will miss this book because this book is like a trip. Reading this book is so amazing. It's the colors pop, and the story is so real. Dennis Camp is doing what Dennis Camp does best. And I'm excited for every next level book. So this is Bratwoman by Greg Rucka. I'm 100% buying this. There's also Lobo by Scotty Young. There's also, Tony Daniel. Tony Fleece is who's doing, not Tony Daniel. Come on. Tony Fleece is doing the Deathstroke book. So I'll get all of those three, at least issue ones, because DC is killing it, man, at this point on everything. Regular universe, absolute universe, Vertigo universe. So speaking of Vertigo universe, the next book is a Vertigo book. And this is by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips, the team who did that Texas Blood. And they also did the Enfield Gang Massacre, which is a must read for every Western fan. If you're a fan of Western and you haven't read Enfield Gang Massacre, it is amazing. So Jacob Phillips is the son of Sean Phillips. So he's done, his art is sublime. He's got a very noirish taste. And Chris Condon is an amazing writer. Everything he's done, has been awesome, including his Ultimate Wolverine book on Marvel. And he did some of the issues of Green Arrow as well. Those are amazing. So yeah, so this is a spam spade noir type story set in 1941 in New York, as you can see. So it's about detectives and, it's like pulpy movies from the 50s, basically. That's what this is. It's like a James Hadley Chase novel, with the gangsters of all those black and white movies. So it's reminiscent. So they've created this new character called Ezra Kane, and this is an Ezra Kane mystery. So yeah. So if you're a fan of Ed Brubaker, if you're a fan of Reckless series like Ethan Reckless and all, I think this will resonate with you. Like you see, the artwork is that neo-noir type style. And, a hard-boiled detective story is a classic, timeless. So what more do you want from comic books, man? That's why DC is killing it, like in every department. I do not lie. And this is the next one, probably The Brutal Dark. And yeah, hope to check this out too, man. All right, let's jump on to Marvel quickly. So for Marvel, we have Iron Man, Joshua Williamson, doing what he does best. And this is an Eric Larson cover. So in the first issue, we found out that Tony Stark is back, but then Madame Mask is basically kidnaps these genius scientist people who has like, they want to create their own Iron Man, own version of Iron Man. So they kidnap this genius person who's like genius level intellect. He's like a high school teacher or something, like a university professor. And I guess the whole idea is for them to, naughty. So the idea is for them to probably create their own Iron Man version of Iron Man. And then Tony Stark is trying to save them. So it's basically Madame Mask versus Tony Stark at this point, the Avengers. But there's also the Avengers thrown in here, as you saw Captain America over there. So the Avengers I don't know what Tony Stark did wrong, but the Avengers want to stop Tony Stark for some reason, which was not explained in issue 1, but hopefully if we find that out in issue 2. But again, this is Joshua Williamson, so he does no wrong. Is that Starjammers? Are there those Starjammers? So Starjammers are thrown into this mix. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. So yeah, but the art looks great. I was happy with issue 1, and Eternals. I'm a big fan of the Eternals. I'm going to check them out too. So, but yeah, this is great artwork, great storyline. I'm still digging this book, and I hope it continues to rock. Eric Larson covered there. So there you go. Betrayed by Madame Mask, because comics. Okay, the next one I picked up was Benjamin Percy, The Punisher, issue 1. So Benjamin Percy did like a short, a mini series with where Frank Castle is back. So he was in hell after the Jason Aaron run. Now he's back on Earth. He's back in New York. He's doing what he does best, which is basically taking out like bad guys. And I think there is Micro in this too. So they're like bringing Frank back to basics. So he's the Punisher. The logo is back, and I think Micro is back, and even Jigsaw is back in this issue, I guess. So that is like core hardcore Punisher back to his roots. And Benjamin Percy, I met him at like a Comic-Con last year. He's a very good guy to talk to. He's really passionate about this project, about doing Punisher. He did a great run on Ghost Rider. If you haven't read that, please check it out. But this is Punisher. I don't know who the artist on this is, but well, the art looks sublime, man. So yeah, it is Jose Luis Suarez. He's doing the art. So yeah, all the Jose's do the great art, man. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Jose Luis Suarez. So they just kick it out of the park. So So yeah, this is amazing. Again, banger of a book, banger cover too. Punisher back to basics. All right, let's jump on to Image. where we have 27 issues of Void Rivals, man. Robert Kirkman is doing what Robert Kirkman does the best. This is part of the Quintesson War, so it's part 3 of 6. So the Quintessons have come, they brought on Sharkticons along them, they're attacking Agoria, and Darek and Solela and Zertonia too. So they've attacked Agoria, they've attacked Zertonia, and Darek and Solela are just trying to, fight the Quintessons. And you've got Pythona thrown into the mix, so because Pythona is there, and that's a Pythona cover, so that's a Ben Olivier cover. And Robert Kirkman does what Robert Kirkman does best. The art is done by Andre Bresson on this one, and the art looks clean. And that's the Quintesson. So yeah, really, man, excited for this book. Every time every issue drops, I'm like, I gotta read this first because the story has been amazing. Kirkman hits out of the park. If you're a Kirkman fan, then this is a total sci-fi book for you. He created something new out of the Energon universe, and that was sometimes more cooler than the G.I. Joe and the Transformer books. And that's like a really tall order to ask, but he knocks it out of the park, man. So great characters, great concept, great sci-fi story, great build-up. Void Rivals, don't miss on it if you're a Kirkman fan. Okay, speaking of Kirkman fans, there's more. So you got Skinbreaker with David Finch. This is issue number 6. So Skinbreaker is a tale about succession, right? So there is this tribe. There's a tribal leader. He gets old. He gets challenged by a younger guy. The younger guy beats him in a fight, then or kills him. He has to abscond his throne, and the younger guy becomes the chief, right? So you've got this guy who basically challenges this old guy who was the chief, and he defeats him and he becomes the chief. But this guy, instead of killing himself, right, or instead of sacrificing himself or committing suicide, he sees that this younger guy is just full of anger and rage. He's still not ready for taking on a leadership role. So what he does is he escapes from the fight. He loses it, but he escapes from the fight. And now he's keeping an eye on the village and the villagers and his people, just to keep them safe. Right, and this other guy is like, oh, we need to kill him, we need to find him because his time is done, and now I am the chief, and I am the emperor and I'm the king. But this guy is still pretty clever. He's old, but he has his wits, and he's got his skills. And they're being attacked by these dinosaur lizards on their tribe. Right, they're being attacked by raptors. But it seems like this is a confrontation between the younger guy and the older guy. So again, this is an 8-issue run, but it's internal artwork by David Finch, and it took him 8 years to draw all these panels. So the artwork is super detailed. This is not like a fill-in artist or something. Every issue has been penned by David Finch. That's why you should buy it, and that's why you should like it. This is Skinbreaker, issue number 6. Okay, we've got Escape number 6 here. Escape number 6 by Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. So this is like a World War II story behind enemy lines. So we've got the dogs who are fighting the bats in a Nazi world. And here you got this guy who's basically on the side of the dogs. He's trapped on the Nazi bat Germany. And then his whole goal is to destroy this massive gun, which is like their weapon. So it's got those Wolfenstein kind of vibes, like alternative universe, and there's no supernatural in it, but it's basically dogs versus the bats. The bats are trying to look for him. He's the only person who's behind enemy lines, and he needs to basically destroy this ultimate big gun, which is like their ultimate weapon. And this is Daniel Acuna art, which is like amazing, flamboyant. I mean, all the adjectives that come to mind. And then you've got Rick Remender on the writing. I don't know how long this is going to go. Is this like a mini, or is this like 12 issues or something? I don't know how long this is planned, but I am loving every bit of it. Like I don't want it to end because it's a good war comic. We don't get too many of those these days. But I used to read like issues of Commando when I was like growing up from the UK. But this is phenomenal. It's sublime, and everybody should read this. Boom. Okay. So now we've got 2 independent titles. So this one is Spirit of Shadows. This is by Daniel Ziegler and Nick Cagney. So I'm not familiar with Daniel Ziegler, but I'm definitely familiar with Nick Cagney. He did a story called Pink Lemonade. And Nick Cagney is one of those Tom Scioli kind of guys. So he's pretty low-key, right? So he does like a book in like once a year or twice a year. But Pink Lemonade is very surreal. It's like his own creator-owned work. And this is probably the second time I'm seeing Nick Cagney on a book. And this deals with probably magic and the supernatural. I don't know what this book is about, but I just saw Nick Cagney's name. And this is one of those guys like, Nick Dragota was another one of those guys whom I read him in, I read his East or West, and I was like impressed by this guy. This guy is really good. And then I saw read him in Ghost Cage, like a 3-issue mini which he did, which is his solo project, and I was blown away. I was like, Nick Dragota is like the greatest artist ever, right? And then he did Absolute Batman. Now everybody knows who he is. I was screaming his name 2 years ago. So Nick Cagney is a younger guy. He's a young dude. And he's also like one of those guys, like, if you put him on Absolute Martian Manhunter or a title like that, like, on the big two, he's going to kick ass and take names, right? So look at this sublime art. So his panel, his coloring is so detailed, and he's a talent like for the future. And I hope he gets to do more comics, and I hope his name spreads wide. But this is The Spirit of the Shadows by Nick Cagney. If you like the surreal kind of art, if you like this crazy Tom Scioli kind of robust and bombastic, colorful kind of characters, Nick Cagney is for you. And try Pink Lemonade if you haven't. This is Spirit of the Shadows. And last we have Mr. Grim Jim Zub and Doug Braithwaite on the art. Conan issue 29. 29 issues of Conan, man, and again, every issue is a banger. Every issue you'll have fun because it is so good. It's so well written. In the last issue, I think Conan becomes the king of Aquilonia. I don't know if this continues that story or if this is the start of a new book or a new tale all over again. But I don't see Conan at least in the first few pages. But this should be a new story. So yeah, the art is again Doug Braithwaite art. So he's been killing it, slaying it. In fact, and yeah, this looks amazing. And I think this is a new story, start of a new story. So yeah, not much to say about it. But again, it's 30 issues in almost, and I think Jim Zub said that he's got 50 issues planned, at least for the first arc. And I hope he continues forever on this book. He's really amazing. His ideas and his concepts have been really stellar for this book. It's been like a #1 top seller for Titan Comics. So yeah, and that, as they say, is that, guys. Thank you for watching the video. If you stuck till the end, I applaud you. I thank you. And check out Cupcakes on Instagram. We've been doing a lot of Instagram posts these days. Hopefully you follow us and give us a like. And we've got daily content on Instagram. The YouTube content I'm trying to speed up, but time, money, it's an issue of time, not an issue of money though, but it's an issue of time, right? So yeah, but I'll try to do more. And thank you for supporting Cupcakes. I appreciate you all. I applaud you all. May you have a joyous and wonderful day ahead, and thank you for watching.